Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me. It's me. It's Mike Lepre, King Mike L. This is Legit Paranormal, brought to you by legitpodcast.com. It's Sunday, the 16th of January, 2022, which is 01162022, actually, which is no fun for the math geeks. And joining me, as always, is Genius Kev. What's up, Kev?
Hey, King. Not too much. Been watching football today. I hit both games so far. Bucks covered. Looks like San Francisco is going to cover and win on the money line. So that's kind of a plus. Makes up for the Patriots' embarrassment last night. But you know, try to separate paranormal from everything else. So I'm ready to go.
All right, I got just a couple quick things before I bring in Buddy and whatnot. So tonight I'm gonna finish up some Don Julio, or if you're from North Providence, Julio. I'm drinking it in the beer, right? Wait. Now, because our guest tonight has been involved with wrestling, I just thought I'd start to let everybody know who the legit fantasy football champion was. So I'm gonna leave that right there, Kev, because if I recall, it was you that fell before me, Kev. So deal with it.
So
let's bring Buddy over. Come on, Buddy. What's up?
Well, hold on a second. So you're aware that it's a blue piece of paper that you wrote on it?
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
No?
It just, you know what it is? See the blue light? It's messing with you.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
What's up, buddy?
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we doing? Obviously, you're doing well, Mike. You're retaining your championship, your belt.
That's right, I am.
In the same spirit, Mike, I went to the liquor store today after work, and I was looking for clown shoes. It's a lovely brewery out of Massachusetts, but they didn't have clown shoes because I went to the liquor store, and I'm not used to this. I usually go right to the brewery. I went to a liquor store, which is weird for me. Not really. So, in light of that, I went, because we're having a quasi wrestling guy on tonight.
Buddy, go like this.
Mayflower.
Buddy, go like this.
Hold on,
buddy.
Mayflower,
buddy.
Love and Wrestling. It's a double dry hopped New England double IPA. It's 8% alcohol by volume. This is the first time I've ever had this beer. I've had Mayflower before. It's very delicious. It's all right. It's not bad.
All right. You don't really like it. Just remember to wipe your mustache because you're leaving froth. Just trying to help you out.
It's okay.
I got the green screen for you too, so we're gonna set that all up too, buddy.
All right, so you don't have to see the haunted basement behind me anymore. That's wonderful.
Let's do the introductions for us. Please.
Speaking of haunted basements, hailing from the Gardner Hill Asylum for over the last 13 years, our guest has entertained Southern New England through podcasts, cable access TV, and now YouTube through Dialink. What adventures await the clown next? Twitch and TikTok. Our guest is host of the Chuckles and Last Show. He has contributed to various fundraisers across Rhode Island. He's gotten into a wrestling ring or two, and he's investigated the paranormal with various Rhode Island's paranormal investigative teams, as well as doing the whole convention scene. Chuckles the Clown.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Your title on your shoulders right there, I'm going for that. I may not know a thing or two about football, but I know a thing or two about the squared circle. And you, my friend, you and I have a special date to square up. Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing great, yeah.
Doing great. So, Chuckles. See,
yeah.
And you know what's funny is it does it sound odd calling someone Chuckles? No, because we call ourselves King and Genius. So who the hell are we to talk?
Yeah.
It's like another name. That's how we do. So Chuckles, when did you decide to become a clown that looks scary intentionally, like full time kind of? Like when did you go, all right, this is something I'm going to do. I'm good at. Here I go.
Well, a long time ago when I used to work at now closed down Field of Screams. Their last year was this year.
Yep.
It was started as a bet that I wouldn't do it. And he had me dress up in a Doink the Clown outfit that had little to nothing to the imagination.
Yep.
And, everybody enjoyed it. So my boss said, "Hey, I'm going to send you out to the Midwest. We're going to hone in on this character of yours, and we're going to have you work the haunt scenes for a little bit." And I did, and I went out to the Midwest a couple times to work on this character. And I met this guy named Dr. Lady, and he's the late night Dr. Lady show. It's a really good cable access show out in Ohio. He's even the mayor of the town now. So there's hope for me. Maybe I'll be the mayor of Coventry somewhere down the road. But I talked to him, and he's like, "Dude, you could go so much further than a haunted house with this stuff." He goes, "It's endless." He goes, "Just the road is yours to travel." So I decided, I came home to Rhode Island, and my wife and I were like, "Well, I've done professional wrestling before where I was on cable access as another character." And she decided that, myself and her decided to start up a cable access show with an evil clown. And from there it was born. And I wouldn't take back a thing traveling that road. It's been a really good adventure.
How long has it been then?
About 15 years.
Wow.
So
15 years. And so you're a younger guy, right? Chuckles is in his 30s, we're guessing?
No, I appreciate that. But I am in my 40s.
All right. So you're around our age. All right.
Yeah. Although
right,
I do appreciate the young age, so I'll take it easy on you in the ring, Mean Gene.
Oh, yeah. Hey, rest in peace, Mean Gene Oakland. He died actually a couple of days ago, which is
He did? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, Chuckles, on the wrestling local scene, did you ever remember a wrestler that went by the name Vertebreaker?
Yep, I did. He actually wrestled in USWF one time. He had painted his face up like a skull.
Yep.
And he wrestled my friend the Lariat.
All right. So his intro music was one of the songs that my band played. He asked if he could use it for his intro, and it would start off with it was a cover of it was like a rap cover of Smoke on the Water. So it went bam, 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 and he would come out to that. And he sent us a tape of him coming out of different places to that song. It got me hyped every time I saw that kid come out. I was like, God damn, I told him I wanted to do an angle where we show up as the band to hear him, hear the song play, see him wrestle. Then he would have to drop the match. We'd get in the ring and act like shit and be mad that he lost to our song and hit him in the head with the mic, stop the back out. And then my thought was I'd wrestle him the next week because, I always could have wrestled. I'm a basketball player. I could have done it. But my wife went, nope. It's hard to know that I wasn't like the minute I said the word, yeah, and then we'd follow it up by me, nope. I didn't even get to say me wrestling. I'm like, what? She's like, you're not getting in the ring. Like, she goes, no, because I don't trust you. Like, you'll try something bad and it'll end up bad. I'm like, you're probably right. But I really wanted to do it, man. And I envy the fact that you even got to be in a ring. You know what I mean?
Well, I appreciate that, but thank your wife because that probably saved you from taking years and years off your body. That's the one thing that I do regret is the physical pain. I have a bad back for the rest of my life now from wrestling.
You're an evil clown. You got to take bumps. You know
what yeah.
I can't imagine it where you're not taking bumps.
I still do. I do mostly managing now, but I still take bumps on the outside of the rings and inside the ring and stuff right now. It's part of the game.
It's crazy.
For the those of us that don't know what that means, what does take bumps mean? Like,
my bad.
Falling in the ring. A lot of people think that ring is a spring and it's cushiony. That is a false interpretation of that thing. It has a little bit of padding to it, then a wood underneath that, and metal foundation under that. So it hurts.
It sucks. It's not fun. I mean, it's obviously not like plywood or just flat plywood or concrete, but it's still not like a spring. He's right. Like I've got to feel the ring, and I'm like, wow, I remember going. There's not a lot of cushion there. You're really kind of catching it. That's why, look, I know it sounds stupid, but I've fallen 3 times in the last year and a half, right? I have a dog he's like a Marmaduke dog. He's like about 110 pounds. And every now and then he'll run around me, catch me quick with the leash and take my feet out from underneath me. And I've learned, and then I hit myself in the head with the aquarium. Remember, guys? Gave myself a concussion coming down the stairs during the season. But both times, I remembered to keep my arms tucked and land on my back. Like, I took the bump. I went with the falls, and I just took the bump the way you're supposed to take it. And if I wasn't such a wrestling geek, that thought would have never came in my mind both times I fell. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Makes sense, but Chuckles, I'm gonna try not to speak for you, but I think that would be a lot different than the vertebreaker, just kicking the crap out of him for a few minutes in a ring.
Yeah.
He wanted to put the trash can on me and do the coast to coast, which is where he's on the other whatever it's called, the corner, turnbuckle, whatever, and he jumps the length to kick in the trash can that's over my head.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's the whole gimmick, and I was like, I don't know how that's gonna work, man. I'm like, I don't, because you're gonna kick it in on me. It's gonna dent in on me. So what do you want? What's your plan? That like at the last second I go right, you go left. My left? Like, what are we thinking here? Like, I mean, serious. Like, Chuckles, help me out. You're in that position. What are you trying to do? How are you bracing that? Like, what are you telling the guy?
You close your eyes and you pray to whatever God you want to pray to, that it doesn't. I don't want to swear, but doesn't mess you up severely, because it can.
That's my thought. See, that's good. See, that's why I'm glad I didn't do it. You know what I mean? It would have ended badly. All right. So, Chucks, you started doing the whole clown aspect or just the evil clown aspect? And what I mean by that is I read about a bunch of charity work, which is always commendable, honestly, and that's not being like facetious. That's truly commendable. But when you do that, are you terrifying kids? Like, what's the deal? Are you trying to get them to play along? I'm going to be serious.
When I started, I stayed the evil clown no matter what charity I went to. It's like, well, if you're inviting me down to do this is my persona, and you're going to get what you get. Most of the time, the kids aren't terrified of me. It's the adults that are terrified of me. And they have the reaction that most of the kids see me and says, oh, it's a clown. Whereas the adult sees it and says, oh, a clown terrified me and did
white van.
Well,
I'm sorry. You remember that, Chuckles? The white van?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Like from the area, we were always told to watch out. I'm being dead serious. There was a announcement that went out across the elementaries or wherever we were, Kev, a couple times, right?
Yeah.
Watch out for clowns in a white van.
You know where that came from, right?
I still don't know.
Stephen King's It. Originally, it was clowns in white vans.
Really?
Yeah, it had nothing to do. That's what the original story was going to be. He changed it up to what it is now, but it was going to be about clowns going around kidnapping kids. But it didn't. So there burst the old-fashioned rumor. I mean, it could have happened. Not this guy, but someone could have done it.
All right, so let me ask you a question. I heard that you do skits, right?
I do.
You seem to be a comedic guy. All right. Have you ever done one where you went to purchase a white van?
No, the wife wouldn't allow me. However, my counterpartner, Chuck, did do that out in Seattle. And he got a lot of heat for that.
No, what I'm saying is I'll go with you, right? We'll video, and we'll get Joey Paranormal to the videotape something on his body. And we'll just act like you're looking for a van. And then color you're like white. And we'll do it dead serious. Just to see like, when they break. That would be great. That's a skit right there, dude. Let's find that out. Or how about this? Wait, Chuckles, you go to a bank and we sit down. You ask the guy you want a loan. When he asks you what for, you tell him it's for a van. We go get a car loan for a white van with Chuckles. Yeah, that's fantastic. The things you could take this guy. I mean, you've got a lot of opportunities with this. Yeah, you really do. I mean, and I like that you branch out. So I'm sorry, with the kids, when did you make an exception? Sorry, I get you off track. That's what
money. became a thing, and someone said, "Can you do a good clown impersonation?" And I said, "Fine." You know, I threw on and more people were afraid of that than this. That was the messed up thing. Is like, oh no, still clown, and this is like, well, you can get over this part. It's just creepy.
You want to know why? Because we are now so programmed in life that when we look at the happy clowns, literally my mind goes, "What the are you so happy about? Why are you so happy? That's creeping me out. Like, why are you so happy? There's nothing to be happy about." When I look at you, I go, "He's in a bad mood. I get it. Let's hear what he's gonna say." You know what I mean? Kevin, is that just the Italian in me? Drink, buddy. Or is that like, what do you think? You get what I mean?
There's no such thing as a happy clown. They're all drunk and alcoholics underneath that paint, man.
That was one of my favorite movies ever. And I was, man, Gentleman Dave made fun of me for Shakes the Clown.
Yeah.
The Bobcat Goldthwait. That was one of my favorite movies. And my friends could not believe how I even thought it was funny. That's the difference of me and them watching that film. Kev, you remember Shakes the Clown?
I've never seen it. Never seen it.
It's a good one. It's about drunk clowns. But anyway, and they hate mimes. There's a war going on. It's stupid but funny. So Chuckles, paranormal. What connection? What connection do you have with the paranormal?
I started as a young guy doing this, like most people, and I used to sit in a cemetery with just a video camera, what they called cancer cams back then, and just sit out there and record. And I caught some good stuff, Pine Grove Cemetery in Coventry, and I wanted to know more why I caught this stuff. And as I caught this, and I reached out to people, I was made fun of a lot as a kid. I think like most of us when we started off doing this, got made fun of until Ghost Hunters happened. Then we were cool. And everybody was trying to sell t-shirts and all that other stuff to get on television. But no, I just, like I said, it's one of those things, like I love it. I want to know more what's on the after side of this. And I've done some great investigations over the years. But all of it still seems like I still lead back to going back to that cemetery where I caught that figure. And that figure that I caught, it was the day before the station night fire.
Oh, wow.
And it had a glowing aura around it. And the messed up thing is I had tickets to go there that my buddy from Cracker Barrel gave me for my birthday. And I decided I didn't like the band because I don't like Great White. And I wasn't going to go. Lo and behold, maybe that spirit there was maybe an angel or something telling me, hey, don't do this. I foresee something bad.
All right. I got a crazy question then, Chuckles. Did you go to local music around that time?
Yeah, a lot. I've always gone to local music. I love local music, man.
You remember State of Corruption?
I told Buddy, like, I've heard of them, but I think I might have been a little too young to catch that band.
All right, so after us was Donnybrook, and then it went. Who went after them? I'm trying to think about who would be around. So who was around when you were on the scene?
For me, it was the big one was Tony Jones of the Creek and Three, the Head Cutters, the Goners. Mostly rockabilly was a big thing. We had the Necromancers. But there was a couple metal bands. Trying to remember the name of the ones I used to play at Blazes Billiards all the time.
You guys got ripped on where to play. Like you didn't get to play like Living Room, Babyhead, Lupos, Met, Strand.
No, they did. My last performance was at the Living Room before they shut it down. And Tony Jones of the Cretan 3 played there, and a couple other bands. There was an Alice Cooper impersonator there that was bald. It was weird, but he did Alice Cooper music.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I was performing in between them, and the very next week the place shut down. So we did get to
buddy,
there.
Where's the gap there? I'm trying to figure out where.
I think he's younger than I am, Mike. I think that's where the gap is.
It was us and Shed and like we recently Kilgore did the reunion
and,
show with us. Times Expired. The older bands, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I do remember seeing Donnybrook, to be honest with you, though. So I mean, I remember that, but a few of the other bands that I mentioned, I did recognize the names. But
so wait, I digress. So Chuckles, you would host the shows?
Yeah, I emceed them and hosted them. Yep.
All right, that's an awesome gig. That's an awesome thing to do. Me and the Genies here drove down to Fort Defiance, Virginia, in June to help MC the 3rd annual Bigfoot Con, which was just like it was a strange adventure. But I'll be honest, it was great. It was a great time. Like it was just like a bizarre thing to do. You know what I mean? But so when you're doing this, are you telling jokes? Are you telling jokes in between? Tell me how you're performing
skits. I perform skits like Alice Cooper used to do. I have a guillotine that I bring on scene. I have a gut box. I have a thing called the 1812 Overture, which I use pies instead of cannons, and I pie the shit out of someone in a chair. And usually it's a donation for that, and all the money goes back to the charity or the event that we do. Most of the events that I MC for free for are charities. We've done stuff with when they had the flood in Rhode Island. We did a great big show for that. We've done stuff for breast cancer, St. Jude's Hospital, food banks, Ronald McDonald's house, you name it. Whenever they come up with a show and said, "Hey, Chuckles, we need an MC," I would show up and do my thing and raise the money, and it would be fun. I met a lot of really cool bands over the years, but unfortunately, too many chair shots to the head. So remember, not going to happen.
No, I get that. I get that. You know what's funny is it's not funny, but we had played the week before Great White at the station, and as we're loading in the equipment, and we closed the door for the first time, and I noticed that the door, was painted. There was a mural painted, and it incorporated the door, so you couldn't make out where the door was. And I'm not being like a jerk. Okay, this is what the back of the station looked like. Like it was a painting where it went through the door, and it used the door as part of the painting. So I remember saying to either my wife or Mike Lopes, one of those people, I remember saying to them, like, if I didn't know that this exit was here, I wouldn't know that this exit was here. Do you know what I mean? Like if I didn't just come in this and know, because the sign really wasn't even there. If I didn't know it was in this painting, you basically had to look for a doorknob. If you didn't see the doorknob, like you would have never known it was a door. I'm not being a dick. That's just what it looked like. You remember it like that?
Yeah.
And it was foam. And in between the painting was foam. Kev, it was the dumbest idea I've ever seen. You don't make the back exit sign hard to see, covered with foam. And then after that, you couldn't play a show in Providence until they sprayed down all the curtains and all that stuff with the
stuff.
It was like a long time that was like a big deal. But anyways, that's but all right. So
can I ask a question? So Chuckles, when you were talking about the cemetery, Pine Grove, I know Buddy, you kind of reacted to it. Is this like a famous kind of paranormal spot?
I know of other investigators that we've actually had on the show, and they've talked about the back corner of Pine Grove that's supposed to be particularly haunted. It's the older section of the cemetery. I've heard more than 6 people talk about their experiences in this very cemetery. I know exactly where it is too.
Cool.
I've been by it about 1 million times.
Yeah, and Chuckles, you said you said you caught some interesting stuff on your camera. Like, was it the figure, or is there kind of other other stuff?
It was a shadow figure with an orb around it. But before that, I heard something in the background that sounded like a dog, and they say, "Oh, no big deal. There's dogs everywhere." But it was in the middle of the freaking winter, and we're tromping through the snow, and then all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh, I hear that too." And there's a voice that you could hear actually mimicking my swear that I said right after I did that. So I'm like, okay, that was kind of creepy. And it was loud enough where the cancer cam caught it. It wasn't, because I didn't have any digital recorders back then or any fancy stuff to go out there and do this. I just showed up and did it. So it was it was pretty cool. But at the same sense, like I said, it's just I keep going back there, and I know one of the reasons why it's so haunted is if you've ever been there, read Byron. They broke into his sarcophagus, and the people that broke into it actually brought the body out, and they were playing with it on the train tracks back then. Now it's a walking path.
Yeah.
And my friend Gaz, actually, he was 8 years old, and he came across the body.
Oh.
So
And he had to turn it into the police and everything. And there's been heavy vandalism in there. That's another thing that I think adds up to it.
Mhm.
And the third and last thing is there's been so much occult and satanic worshiping inside that cemetery that I'm almost certain that they've opened up gates and stuff that they didn't know how to close down, which is one of the reasons that place is so flippin' active.
Can I just say one thing I have a problem with when it comes to Satanism is that I don't believe. I don't. Sorry, Kev. I don't believe that the like they're like Patriot fans. A lot of them believe in Satan, but then there's like that 30% that are just along for the ride and the fun of saying that they're for Satan, but they just want the drinks and the mingle. You know what I'm trying to say? Does that make sense?
Yeah. But when you start playing with that stuff, like like when you're opening gates to talk to demons and whatnot, it's not really the brightest idea,
No.
because you never know what you're going to do. And a lot of these people that are doing it are kids and teens. Like you said, they think it's cool. And they're going out there and doing this, and then they're stirring stuff up, and it's making the place hostile.
Look, we started this show about a year ago, and in one of the shows, someone told us that you have to close out a Ouija board. And we were like, close out a Ouija board? Like, what does that even mean? Like, thank God I never really played with it because I didn't know you had to close it out. Like, that's something I never heard of. So it's like, the more I learn about this, the more I think, like, they don't know what they're dealing with because a lot of the times it doesn't go good. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, it's Buddy, what do you think?
Honestly, I've had two experiences with this myself. One of them was a case of my own a long time ago. We investigated a lot of weird. There was a talk of when the house was abandoned that kids would break in and do Satanism in the basement, and mediums picked up on that. Mediums picked up on something negative. I wasn't sure where I stood with that, but then the medium got scratched right in front of my face, and I couldn't tell you how it happened, and I still have a picture of it to this day. The second time it happened, I was with Rick Pimentel of PLS, who Chuckles has investigated with. We were in an old mill in West Warwick, and we were sitting in a big room asking questions, and I felt like something wet on my leg, and something like running down my leg. Like, what the fuck is that? It was the middle of the summertime. I had shorts on. Joey Paranormal flicks the flashlight on, and my leg has got a big gash, like this big, across my leg, and I'm bleeding like a sieve. And then it hurt. I'm like, oh my God, it's terrible. Come to find out, the very wall that I was sitting against, that room was used to worship Satan, and there was a pentagram found on that wall by the people who they bought it and they cleaned it up. It's just weird that it's happened, and like I've had the experience where something gets scratched or hurt around something satanic. I'm not saying it's satanic. Maybe it's a ghost trying to like pretend like they're a demon. But yeah, I think there's definitely something to be said about negativity and bringing something in and then just like, all right, later, we're out of here. And something actually might be there. Maybe not, but.
Charles, the story about the sarcophagus getting open and the body getting taken out and messed with and everything, did they find out who did that? Like, that's some pretty freaky, nasty stuff right there. Like,
they never found out who did it, and it's they have people have not only done that, but they have dug up cemeteries in there and pulled stuff out, which is one of the reasons why the Coventry police, you have to jump through hoops to investigate that place at nighttime. During the day, they don't care, but at nighttime, you have to know somebody, and you got to know somebody that, like, you're in good terms with. They won't allow it because there's so much vandalism and stuff inside that cemetery.
That sounds very Rhode Island, doesn't it?
And honestly, vandalism, just another like mentioned about vandalism in cemeteries, there's a very popular cemetery that's allegedly super haunted, and I believe it's haunted because I've had numerous experiences there. It's one of the most vandalized cemeteries in Rhode Island, called Elder Blue Cemetery in Cumberland, and it's some of the graves there are over 300 years old. They're like Revolutionary War soldiers. There's a soldier there that died at Bunker Hill, and his stone is broken and like leaning on a tree. It's like it's atrocious, but it's really small cemetery. Such heavy activity. So something to be said about that, I think.
So here's my thing, though. I always had this issue. You guys think that the souls remain around the burial graves? Because I always saw a cemetery as some place that was completely empty of anything. Like if there was the last place I was going to feel something, it would be at the cemetery. Because I can't think of a soul that would attach itself to the grave unless maybe it doesn't want to leave the body. Dude, I can't comprehend why it would be at the cemetery. It would be at other places, like the house where it lived, the barber shop where it liked to go on Sundays, maybe at church. Oh, wherever you want to go. The roller skating rink when it used to be open. Like they could be at all these different places. Why would they be at the cemetery over the stone? If you guys can help me, I'm being serious. The two of you, both investigators, you tell me why it would be there.
Go ahead, Chuckles.
Maybe some channeled them over there. Maybe someone was sitting there doing investigation, was channeling that spirit in there. We don't know. All I know is I've been to places like Rockwood Cemetery, and if you've gone in there, there has been pictures of big orbs that make no sense why they're there. And there's a picture of a young woman in there. That's the shadow of there, and I've seen that on the internet as well inside Rockland. I don't know why. Like I said, maybe they are sticking around. They don't know they're dead, or maybe they're trying to get you to unfinished business there because they didn't have places to go.
Buddy?
Rockland Cemetery. You guys probably have no idea where Rockland Cemetery is. It's in Rhode Island. It's out in Foster-Scituate border. Back when, in the turn of the 20th century, when Rhode Island decided they wanted to build the reservoir system, they took 5 villages and you guys got to get out with destroying your house, manifest destiny, all that good stuff. And they did. Some people moved. Some people killed themselves. It wasn't really well taken by the people in Scituate. Anyway, they upheaved all these people. They dug up all their cemeteries from these 5 villages that have been there for almost 200 years, and they buried them all at Rockland Cemetery. So there's Medal of Honor recipients in there. There's war heroes. There's Dick and Jane that lived up the road. Their home is now under 90 feet of water. Just disturbing the dead, disturbing the dead in the cemetery that they were buried in. They're supposed to be resting in peace. Disturbing the dead by destroying their stones, destroying the last piece of them that exists. Wait,
so am I led to believe that at that cemetery, they pretty much just dug a hole and dropped all the bodies in?
Oh, yeah. They individualized them, but they redug.
Really? Let's be serious here. Do you really think they individualized every single body they moved? If they're so
probably not, but
cemeteries, why would they go one at a time?
It was a cemetery before, and it was after. It's this giant hill. It's up. It's just west of the Citro Reservoir. So it's like Scituate off the border.
Yeah,
Kev, you're a genius. Swan Point. Is that what you just said?
It's off of 102.
Oh, I thought you said Swan Point because that's another cemetery that I know of.
That's
one of the only ones I know of. Kev, help me out here. You're the genius. Put some logic.
They're supposed to, of course. Obviously, I'm sure the contracts were very specific. Like the contracts had very specific instructions about what they were supposed to do and move every body one at a time with the right headstone and all that stuff.
Kev, I meant about the souls. About the souls.
Well, I don't know. I thought you were talking about the movie, The Bodies. I have no idea.
It's always business with you. Get your head out of the books.
Well, I was trying to figure out if I got the contract, I would probably do it because I'd be terrified of how bad things would be if I didn't do it. But there's probably some people that are a little less scrupulous that if they were like, oh, wait,
one big hole.
Was that the leopard one or is that the Thayer one? I don't know. Who cares? Just dump them. We'll both, put the headstones up.
It comes down to respect for the dead. Like as a kid, my parents would take me to cemeteries. We go to veterans to see my grandparents or whatever, and you turn off the radio as soon as you go in. You don't talk bad about the dead, even if they were assholes. You don't say
No,
they
I
were
know
an
that.
asshole after they died. It's just that it's the energy, it's the mojo. I think that it's destroying other people's memorials. You know, my great grandmother, she passed away when I was about 6 years old, and her husband died about 20 years later. And they had a stone in Notre Dame Cemetery, and she used to go every day, and she used to shine the stone, make it pretty. Her parents were buried there. Her aunt and uncle were buried there. Her and her husband were going to be buried there. And she'd make this stone pretty and beautiful, and it was every single day that she was alive until she died. It's a little creepy, but I mean, she had a lot of pride in that stone. She I don't know. It's just you don't fuck with the dead, dude.
Yeah, I mean, so all right, so Chuckles. So then on that note, so see, the thing with us is Kevin and myself. I'm speaking for Kev. I usually do. We missed the whole ghost. I missed the whole ghost hunter like phenomena. I swear to you, I had kids in 2003, and I missed everything that followed. So like when I came out of the bubble and we were talking about doing a paranormal show this last year, I was like, I had no clue. I've never watched them. I really had never watched them. But then as I watched them and I started to watch other stuff, I started to go, this is exactly why people don't believe in like stuff that's actually real. You can show them a real picture, but then there's like 9 other pictures of dopes showing them dumb things, and it ruins that first thing. That I think is the biggest problem with paranormal right now. Everybody wants to get into the act. They all want to have the greatest photo, video of all time. Is that it? What's going on?
I don't know. I think it is. Like I said, a lot of groups get into it just to sell T-shirts and get on television. They don't care about the study of the actual paranormal or whatnot. They just want to be famous. They want to be the next ghost adventures, the next ghost hunters. And realistically, that's never going to happen to 97% of the people that try this.
Tough route to get famous. I'll be honest. Like, I don't know like what your goals are if you're getting into like the paranormal and you want to be famous. It's kind of weird. It's like that's like a really like low percentile chance of that happening. Like, so I don't know, but I get the alerts. All right, can you tell when you're dealing with someone that must be telling you like a bullshit story as opposed to a real story? Like, have you gotten to that point yet where you can kind of feel what you're talking about?
I don't know about the other ones, but I can. I definitely can tell when someone's bullshitting me. I've been to someone's house recently where the person was claiming that they had a negative entity inside there. And when I entered the house, I noticed that all the pets were chill. And usually one of the signs that a house has like bad energy in it or ghosts inside of it, animals will pick up on that before humans do. And they're not chill. They're walking around trying to, look at stuff and everything. So that was the first sign. The second sign was the guy was completely, utterly drunk. And he was telling me all this stuff that I've heard on television. He's like, oh, there's footsteps going up there, but the house is old and settling. It's creaky. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. And he's like, oh, did you hear that noise? Like, I'm like, okay, I just heard it popping. And you go next to it, it's the stupid heater, the radiator. And then we go down in the basement, and he's like, well, this place is full of stuff down here. And I noticed the wiring is not protected, and they got this big cord coming out of the ground. So I'm like, well, the electricity over here is definitely going to mess with you, dude. Like, you really should probably get that checked out, number one, because it's really dangerous. But I don't think there's anything to do with ghosts. I think you're getting messed with by the EMTs coming through the electrical lines and everything. And then it came down to it. They wanted me to get my friend Keith Johnson to come down. And I said, no, I could give you PLS's number, but he's not going to just show up. They thought by me knowing Keith that I was going to be able to get them on television. So when I talked to Rick Pomeno, Rick contacted them, and they gave him the cold shoulder because he wasn't a celebrity. So, and nothing happened afterwards with that house.
So
I almost feel like, hold on, Kevin. I almost wish that you went in full makeup And at one point, these people had to be told by a clown, an evil clown, that they're idiots. Like nothing would be better than a clown coming to your house and being like, "Listen, you're not that bright. Let me tell you why." And then, no offense to all the clowns in general, but like in general, they're not supposed to be the brightest group, right? Can we agree on that? Or is that like a stereotype of clowns? Am I going to get in trouble for that? I think most clowns.
I think that's a stereotype. Evan and Pat Kelly were very much were smart people.
No. I don't. Wait. I don't mean in real life they're not smart. I mean they pretend to be stupid. Like clowns tend to be dopey. They trip.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, most of the time when they're entertaining you, they are pretending to be dopey.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get. No, I get what you.
Great ones are geniuses.
Yeah. You don't want to be told you're an idiot by a clown. I mean, that's it. But so buddy, I want you to clarify something. So one of the things that he brought up, he said the person reporting the phenomenon was utterly drunk. So the investigators could be drunk, but the people bringing up the phenomenon can't be drunk, or is that should investigators be sober too?
You talking to me? Or you talking to Chuckles?
I was talking to you. It was supposed to be a joke.
I always insist that.
Serious, Kev.
I know.
My investigators are sober.
It was a joke. I was completely joking because anyway, if it failed, we'll move it along. This is
buddy. That went so far over your head it hit the pipes.
The problem with live TV.
So Chuckles, when did you start doing the skit show, and how do you go about coming up with ideas for skits?
I'm tapped in the head. And there is a lot of injuries to the brain that come up with these great ideas, and a lot of times I'm watching old-fashioned movies, and I want to bring some of those sketches and some of those comedy reliefs back to the viewers. A lot of public domain stuff I imitate, Looney Tunes, whatnot, and all the other stuff as well. But I've been doing the sketching and everything since probably 2010 was when I started doing that.
You share a lot of similarities with myself. That's another thing that I've always done. What I always wanted to do was I want to make like an American Pie level R-rated movie, but put it in 3D. And then I really want to start it off with like a guy's balls dropping out of his underwear and they swing right into your face. Like, and from there we go to like you can't wait. You see a girl and her shirt pops open and you get actual boobs in your face 3D. Like I'm talking about like really weird scenes. Like he comes running in to tell his friend, "We gotta get out of here." And he was having sex with a girl and he gets up and there's just this mastodon that goes over your head like a sailboat. You're like, "Holy shit! I just ducked the dick." You know what I'm trying to say? A 3D like R-rated movie. Does that make sense? I'm talking to you. I'm talking to
I know.
I'm sure the porn business would love it.
No porn. Maybe NC-17 then. No porn. It's just the point of I think people would remember the movie that had a set of balls that came in 3D and swung in their face. Like I think the rest could be garbage, and they would go, "Oh my god, I can't remember that moment when the ball swung in my face." Oh, buddy, is that just one of my weird, Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But Chuck, think about it. All right, so but seriously, when you come up with skits, what do? You write them down? Like what's the process?
I write them down, type them out. Write up a script like a normal television person would do. There's a script written down.
So
who do you go to next?
What's that?
Like who do you go to next? You write something, you come up with an idea. Who do you collaborate with? Who are you looking to grab?
I send it to the members of the show that are going to be playing their characters and their parts. I send it out. We have a group up on Facebook, and it gets sent out via Facebook.
So you write the whole thing, and you cast their parts, and you give them the dialogue?
Yep. Yes,
you let them ever ad-lib?
Oh, of course. Of course. There's a lot of ad-lib. There's tons of that.
Yeah, what do you think of that? What do you think?
No, I think it's awesome, but I wanted to ask. You mentioned watching like old cartoons and stuff. Like I have, I've gone through channels and watched some of that stuff. It's actually amazing that any of us about in our age group are not completely insane based on Looney Tunes and Warner Brothers and all that stuff is just so
Violent.
like just out there, violent, nuts. Like I was just like flipping through like it was like a Three Stooges cartoon, and I'm sitting there, I'm dying laughing, and I have daughters, and it doesn't resonate at all in any way, shape, or form. It's just like a time and a place, and I love the fact that you're going through that stuff and trying to pull things out, but then you can pull it to skits like now. That's very impressive.
Thank you.
My thing is the process, because the process is difficult to get down. Like, right, you write the show, you produce it, you get everything ready. You got to make sure that these people do what you want them to do. Like, you must want to slap them around half the time because they're not listening to you, right? Because you're Chuckles, they're just whatever. You know what I mean?
There are some people that you do, but for the most part, the cast and crew that I have they're gold. I wouldn't trade them for anything because it comes down to it. It's a volunteer show, and because we use a lot of copyright material on YouTube, we don't make money. By copyright, I use a lot of bands' music and whatnot to start stuff off. I make music videos out of it, and I get flagged like every flipping time. Because I don't have time to go down there and every band. It just never will happen. And I'm not doing this to make money. No, I'm not doing this to be the famous evil clown. I mean, that would be great, but I'm doing this to have fun.
Yeah, you got to do stuff to have fun. That's the only way it's gonna work. Like anything like what you're doing, when the fun is gone, I wouldn't do it anymore, right? Like, because you got to be all the way in. You have to be. So you know what it's like to go on stage, and you got to go from whoever you are to bang. I got to be Chuckles on point, and I got to be 100% Chuckles, so that I leave no doubt to everybody what they just saw, right?
Yep, exactly. A lot of people when they meet me out of gear, they say that it's like, well, it's difference of night and day,
right?
But when I'm in the gear, flip, the light switch goes on, and I'm Chuckles all the time. So.
I commend that. Like I used to do that myself. I used to have to get in a mindset where it's just like I got to pretend like I have total confidence. You know what I mean? Like when I was on stage, because no one wants to go see a band. I once saw a band at where do we play our reunion show, buddy? That the new Met.
Yeah, the Met. Yeah.
All right. I once saw a band play. They play their opening song. Right. It ended. And it ended where they all didn't end at the same time. They all kind of just ended when they wanted. Like it just kind of fell apart. And then the lead singer actually apologized. And the minute he did that, I turned to my wife and I said, "The show's done. He'll never get the audience back. This dude just apologized. Like now we just think you're some guy with a guitar. Like you should just now apologize about being on stage and get off, because you literally." No, I'm being serious. You can't let them know for a second that you don't have the things on lock. Right, Chuckles?
Right.
See, Chuckles gets this. So you were more of an Insane Clown Posse type? Like music?
I do like Insane Clown Posse. I'm not going to lie. Yep. I do like their music. However, I am not a juggalo. I got a job. I don't live in my mom's basement, and I wash my ass. So juggalo I am not. Enjoy their music a lot. I do.
All right, so Masterminds, which M1, the singer, is on our football show. They used to do a lot of things with that side of things. Like we were rap rock, I guess, more Rage Against the Machine original, and they were later that kind of went that Insane Clown Posse sort of way. Like, and then they ended up with Haystack and all those other people. Did you ever see them?
No, but I have done a lot of stuff through people that perform with Insane Clown Posse. I've done a lot of stuff through Psychopathic Records. I've done stuff with ABK. I've done stuff with Critical Bill, Malicious Morbia, who's local, and I'm trying to make Bogus Trizzy, who's local as well. They've all done stuff with Psychopathic Records and whatnot. That stuff was fun, I gotta admit. And when I did reach out to get permission for music, they were the first ones that said, "Go ahead, steal whatever you want and have fun with it." everybody else is like, oh, I want $1,000, I want $2,000, I want $800. They were like, nope, just steal it and have fun.
At this point, like, look, musicians need a way to get paid, but at this point, when it comes to stuff like that, like music that's been out, that's only going to be used to promote it, like, it's not going to. How's it hurting you? Like, whatever. Like, they're idiots for not letting you take their music. See, what I've been doing is I literally have written 34 intros, and I just actually released Legit Fantasy Football Theme Songs Volume 1. I'm so, like, I don't want to use other people's music that it forced me to start, like, doing music digitally, which I don't like, but, like, it's fun. So I get what you're saying. It sucks. Like, we got taken down and penalized for saying something about the subject we can't talk about. And I don't even know what we said. I don't think it wasn't even something really directly to it. And it get, like, demonetized, and, like, they were going to come to my house and kick my wife. It's brutal. They're brutal people. But, all right. So, go ahead, Kev.
Now, do you mind if I switch gears? I want to ask him a paranormal question. You okay? Or you want something? So I was looking at the kind of the places that the places you've investigated, and some I've heard about before, like Fort Adams, Smith Castle, Payne House. But it said you investigated the ACI with Rick Pimentel, and I haven't heard anyone really talk about that. So I'm kind of curious if you could maybe talk about that experience. Just how you arranged it, first of all, because I'm assuming they didn't empty the prison so you could go there, obviously.
No, it was the abandoned sections of the ACI, the old ones. And the first building that we investigated was actually the Looney Bin, the insane asylum. And that building itself has some really angry spirits inside of it for a good reason. And we went there and we set up, and the first time, I ran my white noise box and I was asking questions, and the thing came off and it was answering names on the back of the wall that were behind us.
Wow.
At this point in time, this is definitely not a radio wave coming through here. This is definitely something intelligent answering my questions. The last thing, this lady came in and started swearing at it out of nowhere, and it started swearing back at her. So I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. So a couple years later, we came back about a year later, and I ran through and I said, I ran the box again. And I said, do you remember me? And it said in a low voice, remember you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I started talking, and after I had asked a couple questions, it said F-U-N word. That's definitely not a radio wave going through there.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I think this time I've upset it. So I moved, and we moved around inside there, but we've caught a lot of good stuff in there. The ACI old building there where they had old Lucky there, the electric chair and everything.
Is that what they called it?
Old Lucky, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Was that what they called it? Old Lucky, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was in the ACI building that was abandoned. That was cool too. One of the things I forgot to mention is when we were in the one that was the second time the insane asylum, we had 2 police officers come in, and we got a little nervous, because they're police officers coming in, and they wanted to know what was going on. We answered some questions, and we asked one of the gentlemen if he wouldn't mind being a part of an experiment. And the guy was like, yeah, sure. So we brought him over there, and we put him on camera with, the Xbox thing that catches the stick figures and everything.
Yeah.
We caught a stick figure trying to punch him in the face. So we're like, I'm pretty sure the spirit doesn't like police officers. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. But, yeah, insanely cool. I don't know if we'll be able to get back in there because I think they're tearing the buildings down.
Yeah, that's right. Rick had invited me to go on the investigation as well. I had prior engagements that night, but he said that there wouldn't be too many other opportunities to do it because they were tearing the buildings down as part of the Ford dealership, I guess, that bought the.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Makes sense. They're gonna sell Fords, those pieces of shit where they don't even on cars anymore, other than the Mustang. So they're gonna put a Ford dealership like a haunted. So there's gonna be a haunted Ford dealership.
Yeah, the cars will start up. But wait a minute, they already do start up by themselves. But yeah, you'll have like Ghostbusters, like figures inside the cars that are all rotted when the people come. Yeah.
But honestly, the problem is with Fords, you wouldn't know if they were haunted or not because they're not going to work correctly. Kev, we know this. So it's like, hey, it's haunted. Is it really, or is it just a Ford? Like you got to make a decision at that point. I'm be honest. Yeah, Kev.
No, it's so yeah. Thanks for that, Charles. That was cool because I'm always interested in prisons and stuff because there's got to be just so much negative energy trapped there. We've talked about other people on that have been to other ones and things, but that was cool. And then the other one you mentioned King Philip's battlefields, and the King Philip's War is something that I'm just absolutely fascinated with. And in fact, that it got all the way like North Providence, it just kind of amazed me a little bit for the time period. But where did which areas did you investigate related to that?
There is a place in Smithfield that's a wildlife preservative, and it has a fort inside of it. It was the very first place that had a cavalry charge in America, an actual set-up cavalry charge to take out the natives. They slaughtered them until the natives got into the woods in the swamps because the natives didn't know, they've never seen something like that. So they didn't know how to react or defend themselves from, some dude on a horse with a gun coming at them. They didn't know what to do with that. So we went up there to the battlefield, and on the top of the hill there, I set up all my gear. And my friend Keith and I were asking questions and whatnot and said, if you can do something right now to show me that you're here, please do it. And there was a tree in front of us that had fallen down, and it looks like something kicked it because it went up in the air and came back down at the same time. It definitely wasn't wind. I can give you that because wind is, unless it's a tornado, ain't going to pick up a tree like that and drop it down at the same time. So it definitely looked like something kicked it. And we kept going on, and he heard on the back of his digital recorder, it sounded like a sword being sharpened. So that was in the background of that. We returned a couple weeks later because this place is gold. I had to take you there, buddy, because it is.
Did you say it's in Smithfield?
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Smithfield are we talking?
It's right off of Route 5. It's over by the fire.
Wow.
Yeah, I know exactly the area. I've never heard of anything King Philip's War down this. I mean, other than Smith Castle, and I know they were all up and down the Narragansett Bay and stuff. But
I'll have to take you. We'll have to go up there and do an investigation.
Awesome.
But the last time I went there was the last time I've been there for a while because we caught it out of body voice saying, "I'll kill him," because I was up on the top of the hill, and my friend goes, "What do you think of my buddy up there asking all the questions?" And right cued after that, the thing said, "I'll kill him." So we haven't gone back there in a while because that was like, okay, that's enough. Something that I can't see is threatening to kill me. I'm going to stay away from there for a little bit. Let things rest down. So
all right. Can I say this? And I'm sorry. So we do the car lot for the van. Kev, you can be the salesperson, and I'll be with Chuckles. And then we do the bank for the loan. You're perfect for the banker, right? And he's trying to get a white van loan. And then we'll do the DMV, where he's trying to get a series class on his license that allows him to drive multi-passenger vehicles, right? And they're like, well, what are you looking to drive? A white van. Like, there's 3 Chuckles. I'm telling you, with your character, we can make all 3 of those work.
it has to be from the haunted Ford dealership, and it has to be a Ford
One of the Econo lines. Yeah, one of the Econo lines. Yep.
Yeah.
Right there, tied it all together.
Yep.
So, all right, Chuckles, what can we promote for you? What can we get out there for you? Like, as we get near the hour, like, what do you got going on that we can?
I'm still up on YouTube. It's Die Inc. Definitely check it out. And the show is called Pop. If Die Inc. doesn't work, a lot of times people research Chuckles and Laughs, and that'll pull up something. I can't remember the exact web page off. I should have written it down somewhere. And May 21st, we are doing a show called Banshee Fest. Buddy's been to that before. We are doing it again down here in West Warwick, and we're looking for bands to play in between the paranormal's investigations footage. And there's going to be about 25 vendors there and investigators. I'm looking for people that are willing to do it. And yeah, thank you. And all the proceeds from that is going back to the food bank of Rhode Island. So
I'd like two tables. I'd like two tables, one for which would say Paranormal and one for us three here.
Quite honestly, quite honestly, Chuckles, if you need help with the hosting, you let us know. We'll be like your side guys. But Kev, I think we could work a bunch of routines with Chuckles.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
do the white van.
Because I'm also not afraid to stand up in front of a group of people and tell them what to go do. Like some people can't do that. It's a weird thing. You have to be able to just go up in front and be like, "We're doing this next," and they listen. So let me know. I would love to help out. I mean, you seem to do things. You seem like you're doing everything from a good place, even though you're an evil clown. Like that's literally no, I'm being serious. Like that's literally what I've gotten from this hour. Like I keep trying to check you to see exactly like where you're coming from and what you think on things. And you have all like genuine reasons, like genuine natural reasons. It's not like, I don't know, you're really not like milking this to make like $1 million. Like I know you see, what's going on. So it's refreshing in a weird way. Kev, your thoughts?
No, I completely agree. And the way you approach the investigations, that was really cool. Because being honest here, I wasn't totally sure what to expect because hadn't met before and the clowning, I wasn't sure like with how you viewed the paranormal. Like was it like kind of a joke or something you were going to kind of bust balls about a little bit? But the way you approach it, the history and everything is really cool. I love the ACI stuff and the fact that Buddy did not know there's a King Philip's War site in the town he lives in was amazing.
I think his reaction. I think where it is, but I don't know.
So
I'll send you the address, buddy. Yeah. I'll send you the address.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great.
And we'll get together and go down there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm serious about the skit too. As we wrap up, like if you ever want to do like a dumb skit like that, I'm the guy to help you. Like especially if it's stupid, like I'm in. I love. He knows it, but you know that, right? I'm constantly thinking of dumb ideas. That's what I do.
Stupid as Mike. I mean, Mike loves the stupid stuff.
I like it. It's funny to me. So, all right, what do you got to say before we wrap up?
All right, Chuckles, thank you so much again. I haven't seen you since the Paracons of the past, and it's always good to see a friendly face again. Next week, you join us, and we welcome Riley Black. She's a founder, and she's the founder of Black Cross Paranormal, and she's been on television shows like, She's oh God, where am I at here? She's been on television shows, Paranormal 911 Investigations, Paranormal Night Shift, TV shows, Paranormal Emergency, Haunted Hospital 2020, and she writes for Haunted Magazine, as well as being a paranormal investigator. So tune in next Sunday for Riley Black.
Kev, anything you want to add?
No, I think I handled it before, and Cowboys lost, so their season now moves into the afterlife, and we're gonna have to paranormally try to remove Mike McCarthy. Anyway.
Chuckles, quick question: as a clown, are you an Eagles fan?
I am not an Eagles fan. As a clown, I'm actually a Baltimore Ravens fan. So.
Oh no, that's a very different thing. Very different thing. Yeah. Don't mess with Ravens fans.
I gotta be honest, man, and I apologize for this, but dude. If we roll together, I would be making clown jokes because you know what? They're fantastic. You're like, and the thing is, you get it. Like you understand where I'm coming from. They're just like, it's phenomenal. The fact that you do what you do, and I believe in it, is phenomenal. You know what I'm trying to say? Like you are a character. I got 100% believe that there's actually Chuckles the Clown. Kev, you buy that? Like you know what I'm saying? Like he is that character. I give him credit for that. I know what it takes. Huh? Chuckles, thank you so much, my friend, for being on. Honestly, like I said, you need help with anything coming up, let us know. That's what we do. We like to do it. love to have you on again. Maybe if we go on one of our adventures again, like the USS Salem, we can bring you along, which would be great if you would dress as the clown. But that's up to you, dude. I mean, I'd have a blast the whole
do
time.
not dress as a clown in the paranormal stuff.
See?
Thank God.
There goes my side fun, but I get it. I get it. You know what I mean?
You're terrified that some ghost is mistakenly going to follow you home, and you want him to show up as a clown, showing ultimate disrespect. So yeah, so you know what I mean.
It's like when you know you're gonna get a beat, and you might as well just go get the beat and get it over with. They're like 3 o'clock high when it first came out. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, it's coming. What are you gonna do? Settle in and take the beat. You know what I mean? All right. Thank you again, Chuckles. So for Chuckles the Clown, Buddy there, Genius Kev, it's me, Mike Lepre, King Mike L. This was Legit Paranormal, brought to you by legitpodcast.com. Tomorrow night we have a basketball show from 8 to 9. Is it 8 to 9 or 7 to 8, Kev?
Probably. I'm not sure. It depends. Yeah. Anyway.
Wow. That was exciting. Kev, right there. They should rewind back, and that's the definition of decisive. Go back and watch that clip right there. That's decisive how you were just now.
I told you earlier there's something in the way of the scheduling of the show, and then you put me on the spot. So I was
whatever.
Trying to,
next time just make it up. Guys, we'll see you again next Sunday. Thanks for tuning in.